Greetings, everybody. Hello again. I'm a little bit late today, but that's okay. Um, Come on in and visit with me. I'm doing the 52-week memory verse challenge. I am Erin Taylor Young. You can find me at erintayloryoung.com, as well as a list of all of these verses we've been doing. We want to get God's word in our hearts this year. So we're working on one verse a week, and if I have two verses, I talk about them for 2 weeks. So again, this is Erin Taylor Young, and this is our 52-week memory verse challenge. I'm an author, speaker, writer, podcaster. You can find my podcast at writefromthedeep.com. That's WRITE. So let's get to this verse in Jeremiah 17:7-8. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. They shall be like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. It shall not fear when heat comes, and its leaves shall stay green. In the year of drought, it is not anxious, and it does not cease to bear fruit. So that is our verse. Hello, nice to have you join me. And by the way, you guys can catch these on catch.me/Erin T. Young and also on YouTube. So, okay, let's flip this around, and we're going to talk about at least the first part of this verse today. Oh, wow, sorry about that light in the background there. Okay, so I got some notes here about the time. Jeremiah is one of my favorite books. Jeremiah, because he was writing at such a hard time in Israel's time. And man, I think we can all relate to hard times. Nobody has an easy life. Jesus tells us that in this world we will have trouble. So, in Jeremiah's time, there's a lot of issues. Israel has been rebelling. Half of Israel has already been wiped out by Assyria. Babylon it has been coming against the other half, or the remnant, basically, of Israel, which is Judah. They have been coming to Jerusalem and besieging it, and Jerusalem's basically going to fall. They've already had some guys get shipped out to exile. So Jeremiah is writing in this time, and so he's trying to convince the people to trust in the Lord. That's what his message has been. So one of the things he's saying is, blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. And one of the cool things about Jeremiah is how he does this. He makes this trusting business both a verb and like a noun. Okay, and that's something that apparently Jeremiah does quite a bit. At least that's what I was reading in my commentary. So what I love is that we need to trust. Yes, that's true. That's our verb part. We trust. But then Jeremiah talks about whose trust is the Lord. So he wants us also not just to focus on that we trust, but to focus on who the object of our trust is. And that's God. We trust in the Lord, and the Lord is the object of our trust. And I know we all know that we need to trust in God. We know that, but why is it so hard? I think in part we fail to know who God is. We fail to trust in God. We're always looking, well, I guess what I'm saying is we're failing to know the object of our trust. So the more we know God and the more we spend time with God, the better our trust can be. Another thing to think about in this verse, in these verses, what happens right before this is there's a curse. Jeremiah's talking about cursed are the people who trust in flesh, who trust in man, who trust in other things that aren't God. Now, Israel had a habit of relying on other countries like Egypt to come and save them, when really Babylon has come as a result of God's judgment, and Israel's like, oh, let's look at Egypt. They'll come and save us. Because they're just ignoring that God is there. They're not realizing that God is actually punishing them. This is the consequences of their behavior, of turning away from God and not keeping his commandments. This is what's happening to them. And they're looking for something else to trust in. And I think that's easy for us to do too. We are frequently looking for something else to trust in. I think part of that is that we don't we don't know how to taste and see that God is there. Psalm 34:8 tells us to taste and see that the Lord is good. And I think it's so much easier to trust in something that's right before our face and trust in something physical that we can touch or see. Or, the army, Egypt's army, I mean, they have spears, So it's understandable that they would want to try to trust in them. And yet, so many times they've seen the glory of the Lord as a nation. The glory of the Lord appeared to them at so many different points in their history. And it's easy to forget that. I think the best thing that we can do is concentrate on knowing and trusting and tasting and getting the sense of God as real as we can get it. And that's something that comes with time, with spending time with God and with constantly seeking Him. He does reveal Himself to people. So I think that's my encouragement. We're going to talk about this verse more again next week, but I think my encouragement for this week is to focus on both trusting in God and focus on Him as the object of your trust. So focus on getting to know Him and what He's done in the past and what He still wants to do. That's one of the things He keeps telling us. Remember what He has done. Remember what He has done. Because He wants us to know that He has been faithful and He will continue to be faithful. And I do think He wants to continue to reveal Himself to us. So I think it's a matter of spending time and asking God, show me how to taste and see that you're good. Show me how to get a better grasp on who you are. And God will meet you. God will do that because He wants that with you. He wants that bond with you. So that's my encouragement today. Let's do this verse one more time. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. They shall be like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. It shall not fear when heat comes, and its leaves shall stay green. In the year of drought it is not anxious, and it does not cease to bear fruit. Okay, that's it. You guys, see you next week.